This is Scott Baronato, Executive Editor with CSO Magazine. Last winter, a friend of security researcher Don Jackson sent him a file he found on his computer that he couldn't explain. Jackson discovered it was a Trojan that stole personally identifying information, and he had seen these before. But this one was different. He learned that it connected to a service on the back end called 76service. And 76service didn't just take your personal information. It allowed somebody to monitor your computer for 30 days or 60 days and basically collect all personally identifying information you entered on that computer in that time. But Jackson needed a way to get into 76service, and once he did find credentials which allowed him to log in, he was able to hack around the site and learn just how sophisticated it was. We're going to take a look as Jackson hacks through 76service.
Welcome, Don.
Hi, thank you.
So we're going to take a little trip through the 76service site here, and we'll watch you log on your screen here.
Okay, and while you're logging in here, Don, I just want to say that we've blocked all of the IP addresses of the innocent victims of the scam. And do you want to say something about the companies that appear here?
Sure, you'll see URLs for several big internet sites. I just wanted to point out that these are, the sites themselves are not compromised. This data is taken from compromised PCs, users that belong to users of these sites. Basically log into the site and you'll come immediately to the project management page that lists your active projects, which are basically a list of botnets. This is the user information page that allows you to change your password. And from here, we're going to bring up the online users. You can see here, these are all the users that are actively online and available for use.
Now there are purple links and then IP addresses behind them. What are those purple links?
The purple links are links to individual bots, but they're basically an ID, an infection ID, or a bot serial number.
So every infected PC out there has its own unique ID, so that way any information taken off that computer can stay with that computer as a sort of complete identification of that person.
That's right. It's kind of a link to an index to a kind of a file folder for these.
And if I were a customer, this would be a huge project because they were charging so much money, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Here we're looking at the SOCS list, and this will list all the IP addresses and the ports where a backdoor access proxy server is running.
Okay.
Here it's going to show a search in project. I basically enter myspace.com. It pulls up a list of users that have information pertaining to MySpace. Here's one simple music search, no login credentials, so we'll leave that. Here's some other information. Basically, again, some searches, nothing too damaging in this list.
But sometimes these are valuable to these guys because people will use the same password for, say, their music search as their banking, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And now we're going to...
Here we're doing a domain search. Basically, all the domains this user has visited, so you can search on logs for that certain domain. I'm going to choose one that looks interesting, such as an account domain. And it'll pull up information, that user entered into websites for that domain.
And we've blurred out their username and password there, but again, they're looking for passwords that might be repeatable at valuable sites.
Correct. And here we're going to search across all projects. Basically, I'm going to look for, sign in, an example of something that, eBay might use. It brings up a list of users that have information pertaining to it, and sure enough, here's an eBay sign-in.
Okay. Very valuable.
This lets you customize keywords. These are triggers that send the Trojan into kind of a hyper alert mode. It starts key logging and, spends a lot of time collecting data
so
whenever it realizes.
You could put the word bank in there or something, and every time that word bank shows up, the bot's going to go into hypersensitive mode.
Right.
Okay.
And you can also send commands to individual bots. You can upload an options file with a list of commands to run, put in the bot ID, and that file sent to that infected PC and executed.
Okay. Now we're back to a project list, correct?
Correct. And from the project list, we'll visit the online users in a project. We'll choose one of them, and you'll see the different types of pre-built queries that you can run for that specific bot. So you can search by log data, which is what's coming up here.
And this is a long list. This is pretty much all the form data this particular computer has entered, correct?
Correct. And this is for normal websites as well as secure websites that use SSL.
Now, as ancillary services, these guys would actually package this data in a sort of a more readable format. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
They'll download it and parse it out and sell what's useful. Other queries you might run, they would include client certificates, protected storage, where you might store passwords when you tell Windows to remember your password. Or you can search by
domains, I think, correct?
Domains, that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay. And we just flew by a screen where we actually saw this particular person's keywords that sent it into hypersensitive mode.
Right.
We're just kind of flying around here. You're just downloading certificates. There's an option to just simply download the certificates on that computer, correct?
That's correct. So you can use those certificates to impersonate that infected
PC from your own machine. And there it is right on your desktop.
Yeah.
And I think finally here we're going to see when all else fails, or just as a general thing, you have that universal search bar at the top, just like your Google search, correct?
Correct. And that's going to search all your active projects, all the data you have access to as a user on that server.
Okay.
You can search for sign-in and basically choose all the sign-in servers. Again, this is something that might be used by eBay, which would be a valuable account.
Well, Don, this is very interesting. I appreciate your time and thank you for participating.
Sure. Thank you, Scott.